Hi, my name is Mike Cornwell, and this is another coding node and layers video. I was just integrating kind of some new features for node and layers, and realized that it was missing some key things for the MCP client and the server. So let's hop right in and let's get to it. So I'm in my kind of AI workflow here with VS Code, which I think most of you know by now that I'm not a big fan of VS Code. But the issue that I'm running into is that the client, the MCP client, and the MCP server, they're not really sharing. There's certain aspects to the interface with the MCP interface that they're not actually sharing. And so what I'm finding is I'm having to, on my own end, um, actually, I remember what the issue is. It's actually, I didn't want to put it actually here. I actually want to move it to core. What I realized was my annotation type here for this right here. So you have a function, and it basically describes what your function is going to be. It doesn't have the name of the function, and it doesn't have the domain of the function. And as a result, the system can't automatically know from the annotated function which one it is in the entire system. So we've got to update that. So I'm in core here. I'm in our types file. I got to put in the name, which is definitely not optional, and then we have to put in the domain. And depending on when you see this video, right now, node and layers, especially like the core, um, there's this term called apps, and I've migrated away from using that term apps to something that is more appropriate, which is the word domain. Um, so I'm starting to sneak in the word domain for all new things, but and I probably should actually go and update all the what is it called, the descriptions and the notes, documentation. I should update all the documentation to use the word domain instead of apps, because I'm sure I could find plenty of it. See, an app. Let's say yes, a domain. The name of the domain. Description of the domain. Oh, I don't think I knew that oh no, I actually added that in pretty recently. See, we got app layer. Yeah. Wrapped domain. I know some people would go crazy that I'm changing a bunch of stuff. That's not. Yep. Let's go ahead and change that. Domain name. I don't want to break any interfaces. All I'm changing is just changing the like non-functional things. Just the documentation, because sooner or later I've got to um, break that as well. So I can't change any types. Just the descriptions. All right. So we got that. All right. So our domain is within. Okay. And then here it is, the name of the function. So we've got that. Now what we need to do is we need to go in here and we got to fix this because this is not currently happening. Annotated function. It's going to come in right here, and then where's our base function? Here we go. Dot name. Where are we gonna be able to put this? Well, we could change a dot name, and we can also do dot domain. Oh, you know what? It actually isn't relevant. It's in the, well, hold on. This is in the props, but the props don't make it into. I'm relatively new to the Zod library, so I'm still kind of figuring it out. I'm using the latest. That way I don't have to make this kind of massive change later. What I do want to do, I think I'm going to ask AI about this. Is there some sort of property I can add a name. No. That's kind of interesting. I'm like thinking about it. I need to be able to store additional data. The only thing I can think of is maybe what we do is I go in here and I go into the actual this. See, I've got a schema, but I can also add, yep, name of the function, just name, domain. I could do that, and then here I could do this. I don't normally like to do any of these kind of immutable data type things, but sometimes it's just the way you got to do it. I could do it like this. I think technically this has it. Let me pull up. This is, for some of you new developers, this is kind of the awesome thing about Node. Also Python. This is where I learned how to do this kind of stuff. Where you're like, can I do it in this language? You know, I have no idea. So what I'll do is I'll just pull it up in a shell and just like try it out. So all of our functions are lambda type functions. So I'm going to do x. It does have a name. Well, no. If I do this, yeah, it doesn't have a name, which is how most of this is actually gonna go. I was just curious if, you know, well, you know, let me try something else. I'm pretty sure that this is gonna be the case. All right. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to go. Oh, this is really interesting now that I think about it. Okay, I'll just trade the same function. Okay, yep, function. F.name is test me. Return F. Okay, so now let's call it and let's put in our anonymous function in. Well, that's interesting. Kind of wasn't expecting that. So It's like not really turned on at all.